Let's bring in Florida Republican Congressman Michael Waltz. Congressman, whatever happened with the House Republicans this week, what Joe Biden and co. have called is intentional suffering and hardship that they have inflicted upon the American people, regardless of who they voted for. And we can just start with the economy, with inflation, and now particularly the higher interest rates to fight that inflation. I call it the vice that Biden and company put the American people in, and they're just turning it tighter and tighter and tighter.
Yeah, Dave, you're right. I mean, we'll get through this next week or the week after. Either way, we'll get through it. But it's the kitchen table issues that are driving Americans every single day and their decision making. And whether it's gas prices out of control, crime out of control, looting, their budget is buying less and less and less, particularly with people on fixed income. That's who's getting devastated the most, and that's who votes the most. Border out of control, world on fire. That's what's right in front of people's faces. You're going to see a lot of Washington Beltway hand-wringing, but that's exactly where the only people that are really going to pay attention over the next week. I think for the country and for the voters, it's all of these issues that are hitting them right upside the head every single time they pull out their checkbook. Well, you mentioned kitchen table. I mean, you can't even afford to get your own kitchen to put a table in right now because mortgage rates are so high. Yeah. And, it is almost a laughing matter when you think about how high prices and interest rates are. But, I mean, that truly is Bidenomics. The reason we have the housing crunch we have is because of his policy of inflation that led to these interest rates nobody can afford, Congressman. Well, and that's the thing. That's the brass ring of the American dream, right? You like my family did, you grow up with nothing and you strive and you work hard and you play by the rules to eventually own your own home. And that is completely out of reach for most Americans now. And then on top of that, they can't afford rent either because you have these massive conglomerates like BlackRock buying up entire neighborhoods and jacking the rent prices through the roof too. So those are the issues that we're going to run on. That's what the Republican conference is doing our damn best to get after, which is drive inflation down by driving spending down and getting us back to energy independence, because the price of transportation underscores everything. And those are squarely on Joe Biden's shoulders.
Before we move on, Congressman, we had Phil Flynn on yesterday talking about the Strategic Petroleum Reserve and how low it is. There's only enough oil in the petroleum reserve to cover 17 days of U.S. oil needs. And Phil just made the point that this is a huge national security issue, that nations overseas, and you know this, having served our country nobly and mightily, that Saudi Arabia, Russia, any nation that hates us, Iran, that they see our weakness there, and they will use oil against us because we have very little ability to drill, explore, produce. But having no emergency reserve is a great weakness.
Yeah. But again, it's the BlackRocks and Vanguards and State Streets through ESG that have completely starved the entire industry of capital, on top of suffocating it with the Biden administration's regulatory regime. So it has done long-term damage. And in terms of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, look, I'm from Florida. It is meant for massive disruptions. We're still not out of hurricane season, God forbid, if it hits our refineries. And knock on wood, it doesn't. But he has really devastated any ability for the American economy to come back if we have a massive shock. And I pray we don't. Hey, I want to ask you about the border wall, Congressman, while we have you here. Joe Biden insisting today he was strong-armed into this whole border wall 180. Listen to what he said.
Mr. President, can you be specific about what you did to try to reappropriate those border funds, especially when Democrats controlled both chambers of Congress?
The wall thing? Yeah, they passed. Well, I was told that I had no choice.
So, the wall thing, Congressman, it seems to me if he really didn't want to pay for this thing, he had a couple years. He and a Democratic Congress could have figured that out. They didn't, which makes all this smell really fishy.
Yeah, that line was about as believable as him saying the Afghanistan withdrawal was an outstanding success. I mean, just anybody and everybody sees right through it. But what's striking to me on that statement is I was told I have no choice. So once again, leads every American who's telling him what to do, particularly when it comes on his signature campaign issue of not one more inch of border wall and a total 180 reversal. They were trying to sell the stuff off. They were auctioning off the wall that the taxpayer had already bought and was just sitting there collecting rust. But, just real quickly, the wall, I mean, I'm glad to see something going back in, even if he doesn't know why. But the problem is the release of migration. The release for migration for asylum. These people aren't getting stopped by walls. They're seeking out the Border Patrol because they know they're going to be given a notice to reappear in 5 to 7 years and disappear into the interior and never come to court again. And so I think this is a check the box from somebody on his staff to say, look, we're trying to do something because the Democrats are now demanding he do something.
Right. I think they were poll testing it, or they were focus grouping it, and somebody freaked out and did something about it. But if you listen to the whole question and answer from Biden, it's actually an embarrassing lie, because he actually pivots and says, because they kept saying we wanted to get Congress to reappropriate the funds, and then he admits that it's actually, we wanted more border agents, technical capabilities. And so he's really talking about an immigration bill. And Shalonda Young told Ways and Means about a year and a half ago in March of 2022 that the administration was actually using this $1.9 billion for environmental restoration and community consultation. They've been using it. They've been using the wall money for not building the wall. They admitted that.
Which is illegal. And then on top of it, on the one hand, now they're saying the law is forcing them to do it. But on the other hand, the administration has been waiving 26 different laws in order to have their open border policy, and did not actually do what the Congress told them to do and appropriate the funds to build it. So it's just, they're talking out of not both sides of their mouth, every side of their mouth. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Really selective application of the rule of law, I would say. I want to get your take on this, though, Congressman. At a time where adversaries are more emboldened than ever, the Pentagon making cuts to the Army's Special Operation Forces, cutting 3,000 troops, including those from the Green Beret commando units who conduct some of the nation's most sensitive missions. Congressman, you were once one of those Green Berets. You got to have a take on this. What do you think?
I think it's completely asinine. You have a Pentagon leadership that is out of touch. They are more focused on renaming bases. The Secretary of the Army's #1 priority is to have a carbon neutral Army by 2030. Even though if it makes us dependent on Chinese-made solar panels, their priorities are all wrong. But here's the thing about those troops. These get the highest payoff for the least amount of cost than anything else in our military. They don't just kick in doors and go after the Osama bin Ladens and the Baghdadis. They are sitting there side by side with our partners. They're collecting information. They're training them on how to use our equipment. They really are our eyes and ears out there all over the world, and are in 60, 70 countries anywhere in the world, including all around China right now as we speak. And I'm going to fight this tooth and nail to make sure this does not happen, because you can't mass produce elite warriors when you need them. You can't just flip a switch and say, oops, I made a mistake in the future.
Congressman Michael Waltz, thank you so much for being here always.
All right, thanks.
You fight that fight.